So in this video, we will talk about the most important criteria that you need to fulfill in order to ace the case, in order to ace the interview. So basically, we have 6 factors that are important if you want to prepare for interviews. So the first one is obviously that you're able to solve case studies. You know, case studies are basically a method to prove the skills that you need to have in management consulting. Because we talked a lot, we talked in the first module in the introduction to management consulting, we talked about what consultants actually do. And what they do is that they solve problems. And this mainly has 3 steps. It's, structuring the problem, analyzing the problem, and communicating the solution. And case studies are basically exactly those 3 steps. And this is what you do on a daily basis as a management consultant, but in a very compromised way. So if you want to solve this case study, usually your interviewee will give you a couple of information about the problem that you need to solve. And then it's your task to structure it, to make the analysis, and at the end to communicate your solution. The best way to prepare for it is actually to use the available resources. There are many books about solving case studies. There are many online resources about solving case studies. There are many coaches who help you to solve case studies. So it's very important that you make this a large part of your preparation for the interview. The second thing you need to prepare are brain teasers. And brain teasers are like some riddles that you need to solve. And the consultancies want to see if you can tackle difficult problems, and they want to see how you deal with them. And again, here there are many books about solving brain teasers. There are many resources that you can use. It's pretty much the same like, if you want to solve case studies. But I really recommend that you also prepare for those brain teasers, not only because they are fun, but also because this helps you a lot in your interviews. Another thing that many people struggle with is doing head calculations, because if you want to solve a case study, very often, or actually every time, you don't have a calculator with you, and you have to do all of those calculations in the written form or in your head. And many people struggle with that. And, unless you apply for a corporate finance role, or, if you want to go into more banking related stuff, I think, head calculations are important to master, but you don't have to be genius in them. So it usually is enough if you can do most simple calculations like additions, subtractions, divisions and multiplications with the more easy numbers in your head. A fourth important criteria is that you know about management basics. You see, if you solve case studies, then you very often have to apply some management frameworks, like, for example, Porter's 5 Forces, BCG Matrix, or some other stuff, okay? It's also important that you know about how a P&L is structured, how a balance sheet looks like, what a cash flow statement is, for example, and that you know the most common organization forms, okay? And you don't have to be an expert in that, but I think it's very important to have a broad understanding of it, because in those case studies, very often you have to apply them in a real situation. So it really helps to be familiar with them. A fifth criteria that is very important is that you have a good appearance and also social skills. So this might be obvious, but I think it's nevertheless important to mention. So if you go to the interview, of course, you should be dressed very professional. Also make sure that you get a fresh haircut, and make sure that you feel comfortable in social business situations, okay? So don't be too nervous, don't be awkward if you have a conversation. Something that really helped me back then was to go to network events or to career fairs, because there you are in contact with consultancies, you see how other people behave. And I think it's just important to be natural and not too nervous in those situations, because, people will feel if you feel uncomfortable, And since as a management consultant, you very often are in kind of uncomfortable situations, because maybe you have a meeting with the CEO, or maybe you have a meeting with a very senior person and you're afraid, that they ask you a question that you cannot answer. You have to appear professional there, okay? So it's very important that you make a good social impression as well. And a sixth factor that is also very important in my opinion is that you show a strong motivation and a strong personality, okay? You want to appear as a highly motivated and driven person, but also as a good team member, okay? So again, try to feel comfortable in a social situation, but also try to show them that you are motivated, that you really want that job. Also show them that you are a driven person. Try to be enthusiastic about the topics you talk about, but also try to connect on a personal level, okay? Show them that you also are a good team player. Don't be too stiff, don't be too nerdy. Also try to, appear as someone with whom people want to spend the entire week with. This is very, very important. So those are the most important criteria if you want to prepare for your interview. And in the next video, I will give you some practical tips that helped me back then.